Hey cousins, welcome to Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas.
Welcome, cousins, to this episode of Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas. I'm your host, Cornell Wright, the People's Lobbyist. So, cousins, today I want to talk about two things that are important to all of us. It's going to be a theme I'm going to continue to run throughout our episodes over time because I think it's critically important that we get the message and start to really engage with it. And that is recognizing the strength of our diversity and what that means for us when we're united, and the fact that we have global competition in everything we do. Okay, so let's start off with the competition piece. In 2001, I had a chance because I'm a member of Kiwanis, and we had our international Kiwanis conference, and I had a chance to go to China. So imagine this, cousins. On July 4th, 2001, I was sailing in a riverboat down the Yangtze River looking at a full moon, drinking some brown liquor. One of the stops along the way, was I had a chance to go later in the trip to Beijing. So my wife had gone to bed. I was in a hotel downtown Beijing. I heard music. I went in the bar. There was a live combo playing jazz, and I ordered a Jack Daniels. Now, cousins, think about that. Literally halfway around the world, a Jack Daniels, jazz, in a nightclub or a club, if you will, a bar, in a beautiful hotel in Beijing, China. I could have been anywhere in the world, and that scenario could have been exactly the same. Jazz, Jack Daniels, nice nightclub. Okay? That means that everybody's starting to get a chance to have a taste and engage and like our lifestyles, right? They like jazz, they like Jack Daniels, like beautiful surroundings. Who can blame them? But so what also happened is while I was on the trip, one of the discussions that came out is they were predicting, according to one of the federal agencies of the United States, that by 2021, 2022 timeframe, China was going to start to surpass the United States in a number of economic indicators. Well, guess what, cousins? That's already happened in one of the indicators. And so it says that China has currently passed the United States by both identification by the International Monetary Fund and by the World Bank, that China is the largest world economy based upon something called purchasing power parity, PPP. Purchasing power parity is a measure that adjusts for a company's gross domestic product for differences in pricing. And so simply stated, it says that if you have a dollar, or they consider a yuan in China, that you can buy more with that currency than you can with a dollar here in the United States. So therefore, they have grown and they've surpassed the United States in that regard. One of the other statistics I heard a number of years ago is that because China has such a focus on education and how English is being taught in China in a very aggressive manner. Why? So they can conduct business both in English and Chinese around the world, that China is pretty soon going to be the largest English-speaking country in the world. You got that, cousins? China, the largest English-speaking country in the world. I like that. It helps with communications. However, if you can't speak Chinese, you're only halfway there. You with me, cousins? Okay. So you start looking at that, start saying, okay, so that's kind of like the groundwork. By the way, start looking at competition around you. There's international competition everywhere we go. In fact, I've been to the Daytona 500. Some of you cousins may have too. Do you recognize that last 5 Daytona 500 champions were by Toyota automobiles? Not Chevys, not Fords, not Plymouths, Toyotas. Now, I like Toyota cars. I don't mean anything bad about them, and obviously they must be great cars in order to win the Daytona 500. But think about that, cousin, from a competitive standpoint. 3 out of the last 5. That's a trend, all right? You know, the whole idea is 1 time is a single point, 2 times is a line, 3 points is a trend. So that's just one small example of some of the competitiveness. You look around your house, look at what you buy, look what's there. You're going to find more things made outside the United States than inside the United States. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. We'll cover that later too. But so here's the other piece that starts to tie these two things about competition together, cousins, and the diversity question. In November timeframe, just after Thanksgiving, the Rhodes, I think it's called the Rhodes Trust, the folks who distribute and identify the Rhodes Scholars, they then came up with their list of 109 young people who around the planet are going to get a chance to go to Oxford University to study for master's degree programs. Out of those 109 people, there were 32 chosen from the United States. Had to clear my throat. Of those 32 United States people, I think, to my understanding, there was one from the U.S. Military Academy, one from the Naval Academy. There was even a young lady from my alma mater. So thank you very much. So think about that, cousins. And from what I understand, from looking at the statistics, and you can look at the description, you can get some of those statistics, the folks who came from the United States represented the diversity of our country. They were females predominantly. They were males, and someone identified as non-identification out of the 32. There were folks who were immigrants and folks who were first generation. There was a whole category, a swath of people representing the United States who are what? Supposedly some of the best and brightest people joining some of the best and brightest people in the world at Oxford University. You go through and you look it up, folks. Oxford is considered one of the, at least, depending upon your listing, number one, or at least in the top 5 of universities around the world. And the Rhodes Scholarship is one of the most prestigious in the world. So, prestigious is the word. So, if you think about it, it's about $70,000 a year plus room and board. This is no joke, cousins. It's a whole community of those people who are what? Around the world. So you start looking at, you think about, well, what does that mean for our competitiveness? Well, we had 32 out of 102, I think I said. But that also means there's all those other people around the world have comparable, excellent academic and leadership skills. We do not have a corner on that market. We have to continue to be conscious, ladies and gentlemen, cousins, because the rest of the world is coming. There was a point in time where you could say, well, gee, because it was made in America or because it came from America, that was the best. Can you really say that about everything anymore? Think about the COVID-19, the activity we're going through now. The whole world is working on a vaccine. We may have some of the early adapters, but no one's clearly identified at this point in time which is the best one for all the different attributes you associated with a vaccine being the best: cost, distribution, temperature, 1 or 2, side effects, those kind of things. You with me, cousins? All that starts to come into play. And so now you look at that and you say, so here is an example of the cousins that we have going to Oxford University pursuing a Rhodes Scholarship. 32 of them. Think about that and recognize that that diversity among them is what sets the United States apart. We have always been diverse. We may not always have been fair or equitable, but we've always been diverse since the beginning. Take a look at all of our teams, all the things you want to succeed, all the military. Everything we've gone through has been a diverse environment throughout our history. We've not given credit or appreciation or props to everybody, but everybody's been there. So cousins, when we look at it now and start thinking about it, hey, we are in a combative battle. Do we want to be united or we want to be separated because of internal bickering in the house? If we go back and look at the preamble to the Constitution and talk about what we're supposed to be about, I think that should be our guiding North Star. Don't you, cousins? Think about that. And recognize that anything that's starting to tear us apart, I would contend is a bad idea. So cousins, we have to continue wearing our masks. Please, I want you to subscribe to the show. Yes, notice my new logo. I think it's kind of nice. You may have seen it before. You'll see it again. And I want to thank you for coming by today on this episode of Brown Liquor and Bad Ideas. Take care of yourself because I care about you. I want you to care about me.
We are